Jerry Duggan and Sia Filler begin the march to war as the mutants Orchis and Arakko all begin to make their moves against one another, but in the midst of all of this, Storm teams up with Sunfire to rescue one of their own from Otherworld. Jerry Duggan continues to tie together all his story points and more quite flawlessly, this time tying in the MODOK one-off issue from the last issue into the larger Orchis storyline, something I very much welcome and didn't actually see coming, which was a nice surprise. I thought the MODOK stuff was just going to be a little bit of a one-off sort of superhero sort of story for the X-Men, but I like that they're tying it all in and it's all part of a larger story. The Gameworld plot, which was in the first few issues of Duggan's run, also comes back around with Rogue and Gambit's side of the story, and I really enjoyed the very catty family reunion between Destiny and Rogue, making me actually also remember that Destiny technically is Rogue's mother, and I like Destiny taunting Gambit and him marrying Rogue, and it was a lighter side of Destiny we haven't actually seen all that much of, so it was really great to see, and it was a refreshing change of pace for the character. Storm's story from Sword also continues here and goes to a really nice place as her and Sunfire team up to straighten out some loose ends from all the way back from X of Swords, with Redroot, Arakko's own version of Cypher, who was imprisoned on Otherworld during that event. It's a great team up, a being who controls wind, rain, thunder and the weather, with a being who controls fire and flame, and I'm looking forward to their adventures in Otherworld. Sia Filler taps in as artist and is added to a long line of fantastic X-Men artists, keeping the book's super consistent look with Pepe Larraz and Javier Pinta's previous work. There was some great action and a lot of great character work, especially with Destiny, who for a woman with a solid gold smooth mask covering her face, therefore not being able to see her emotions, Villa gets a lot of emotion out of her, especially with her hands, and I love every second of it. X-Men issue 9 was another fantastic issue that began tying a lot of plots together as well as picking up some of the loose ends left over from X of Swords, making for an adventurous, action-filled issue. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. X-Men issue 9 finds Xavier telling the council that they have a duty to protect Krakoa, but finds presenting today's matter gives him a heavy heart, as on Phobos, Fei Long tells Orchis that they cannot be in a grey area of their thinking, and it can only be them or the mutants. On Arakko, Iska the Unbroken tells her people something similar, knowing it'll either be war or peace. Xavier tells the council that Orchis is dedicated to their destruction and are hitting them with both hard and soft power since they know of their resurrection protocols, and they intend to drive a wedge between mutants and humanity with it. He wonders if Orchis is successful, would the council be complicit through inaction? Catherine knows that a vote for a secret war with the humanity will have negative consequences, but Sebastian Shaw doesn't care what humans think. However, Emma knows that Kate was talking about what happens if this gets out to their people and allies. Colossus tells them to leave this in the hands of X-Force as Nightcrawler refuses to vote on killing another being, but Magneto is more than willing to. On Phobos, Dr. Stasis tells his own council of the stakes at hand as Dr. Devo reminds him their data said the mutant resurrection would be causing panic in the humans by now, but Dr. Stasis reminds him that it will come in good time, they have just hit a delay. He details how the mutants recently had a run-in with MODOK, who unveiled a new synthetic drug which triggers the aggressive fight or flight response in humans, wanting to free the villain from jail and recruit him to their cause so he can better understand this drug and maybe use it for their own purposes. Abigail Brand doesn't think that's necessary, but Nimrod wants to meet this so-called killing machine himself. Later on, Nimrod forces his way past Area 51's top-tier defenses to free MODOK, securing the area for Dr. Stasis, introducing himself to MODOK as well as Nimrod, who rips a War Machine guard in half. Stasis tells him that they are early adopters of Orchis, finding themselves impressed with the nasty toy MODOK tested on the cruise ship, so much so they wish to offer him a position in Orchis, knowing not only would he get to kill many people, but he'll also help remake the Earth. MODOK finds himself quite intrigued, as on Arakko, Storm asks the council if Arakko will return to Amenth and resume making war, knowing there appears to be some guilt from some over the planet Arakko since the world was dead before the mutants used their gifts and weapons to to remake it, and the Arakko can be sure there are those out there who hate them for their success. She is aware that war will find them, but she demands the vote on the subject now. Iska abstains from the vote, interested to see who misses the old ways. Storm votes no, but Iska knows the vote is now a deadlock, but as regent, Storm is allowed another vote to break the deadlock, and she's voting for peace. She's reminded of Redroot the Forest, who didn't want to fight in the Otherworld tournament but had to since Arakko was in jeopardy, and she does as well and will recognize Arakko by adding Redroot's plight to their agenda. The others know that Arakko must be talking with Storm like Redroot before her, and Storm doesn't deny it, knowing that Redroot went to the tournament and the fates saw her trapped perhaps forever, and while she won't call a vote for a rescue mission, she won't stop anyone who wants to call the issue forward. Tar knows that if an Arakko can't escape capture, they aren't an Arakko anymore, but the Arakko are well suited to prisons. Suddenly he is smashed on the head by one of Arakko's branches, knocked unconscious by it as Storm calls the meeting to an end, warning them to go carefully. On Oblitus, Rogue and Gambit arrive to see Cosmo, who introduces them to the psychic monkey Albert, who doesn't particularly like Gambit. The mutants learn from Cosmo that he doesn't know where Gameworld is, but he might know someone who does, since another mutant has arrived just before them. Intrigued to see who it is, Rogue and Gambit head to a cantina where they find Destiny is already there. The woman tells them that the answers they seek aren't there, as the two mutants had hoped to buy a few rounds for the bar and see if they could loosen lips on some of the scoundrels who would know where Gameworld is. Destiny doesn't care for Gambit's input, knowing the sooner the silliness with the X-Men ends, the sooner that Rogue can return to Krakoa with Mystique in her, since they will need her for the coming battle. One of the aliens who Gambit called a scoundrel doesn't take kindly to his insults, wanting the mutant's coat. The alien hits Gambit in the face, causing Rogue to smash him down into the floor, knowing that they wanted to do this the easy way and buy everyone some drinks, but now that's over and someone is going to tell them where Gameworld is. As a brawl breaks out, Destiny leaves for the bar, knowing that it's always this way with the X-Men. She tells them that she's already seen the end of this and they can't wish the outcome they want into existence, and no one has that power. Rogue says that Gambit and her haven't had much time together these days, and Remy knows that this is what this is really about, but Destiny knows that the world doesn't revolve around them and she's trying to correct their trajectory. Remy wonders how the greatest precog ever was dead for as long as she was, but Irene hits him back, knowing that when she found out Rogue married a bumpkin thief from the bayou, she asked the council to kill her again. Gambit asks what she has against him, so Destiny knows that he is her disappointment made flesh as Gambit is tackled down onto the floor. Destiny makes fun of Gambit and Rogue's Mr. and Mrs. X title, wondering if that's what her daughter's life has been reduced to, the wife of a cutthroat thief and horrendous gambler. Throwing a kinetically charged martini glass at the aliens, knowing that he's an exceptional gambler. Rogue figures out that none of the aliens know nothing, wanting to leave, so Gambit tells Irene that both he and her love Rogue, but the difference is he doesn't come with strings attached. The frustrated Destiny says that she hates Gambit, as back on Arakko, Storm checks in on Sunfire, who has finished constructing his new home on the world. She tells him to be prepared since others may challenge him for the land, and Sunfire reveals that many have tried to, having bested them all in battle and killed them, begging them not to fight, but after she killed the one in the helmet, they stopped all coming. She asks if he's really staying there, and Shiro knows that for now he is, but eventually he wants to keep going and travel through space and see how far he can get. He notices the flower on Aurora's hair, thinking that it's a familiar one, so he wants to show her something. He tells Storm that he brought a Mizurana oak sapling with him from Japan on the night that he was elected to the X-Men, and Arakko gave the sapling special consideration. Thanks to the sapling, Arakko is now able to show the visage of Redroot, signaling to Storm that their hostess is asking for help. Storm tells Shiro that he wanted to keep going, but it doesn't get much further out there than Otherworld, knowing right now the way is closed, but if he can somehow get it opened, Arakko is asking Sunfire directly to help her find her voice.